Hey there, friends. So, we are about to start quarter 4, and though I've kept a reading journal through the whole month or whole year of 2025, I have not yet kept an everyday journal. So, I've just joined Joshy's membership where she is going to be going through quarter 4 goal setting and things like that. And after watching her videos and keeping my own reading journal for the past year, I've decided to go ahead and jump in because there are some projects and some goals that I want to reach before the end of the year. And so we're going to start today in this lovely new journal I got. This one is from Tiefossi, and it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a A5 dot journal with 100 and oh my goodness, so many more pages than my reading journal had to start the beginning of the year with. This is 190 pages. So I definitely think this is going to last me through the quarter, and if I'm lucky, should last me through all 4 quarters of next year. So starting here on this page, I'm just going to skip this for now. I can come back to it and decorate it how I want a little bit later. But I want to start with this first page here on the right hand side. So because I am going to be doing this as like quarter planning, what I plan on doing here is doing like a quarter planning setup page. So let's get started with that. I really love fall and all of those rich colors. Since October is the start of color change season here in Sand Hills of North Carolina, I really wanted to incorporate some of those colors into this setup. I gathered various scrapbook papers that I've acquired over the years from the Paper Studio Company. Now, most of these you can be purchased at Hobby Lobby or Michael's. I just started by tearing out a sheet and sticking it to the bottom with my AdTech 8mm adhesive tape. Now, you can also get this at Hobby Lobby or even get it in bulk on Amazon. Cutting this specific paper turned into a little bit of a nightmare, as it was more like cardstock instead of a regular piece of craft paper or scrapbooking paper, but eventually I do end up getting there. Now, some people really worried about their corners being perfect and the edges of their papers being lined up just right, and you'll see throughout this video that I'm not exactly one of those people. Now, I do my best, and I just hope for the best, but if I do snip off an extra piece here or there, I don't berate myself over it, and I just kind of go with it. At the bottom here, I decided to add a piece of washi tape border that I got off of Amazon. This was part of a collection of 6 different rolls with beautiful scenes of different seasons in each different roll, and I'll put the link in the description box below. So I'm just adding a piece here, and I decided that I wanted to go back and kind of fill in the rest of that space with more trees. Unfortunately, I didn't like how long it was and kind of barren, so I was like, oh, I'll just cut off pieces that I want and make it look better from there. Unfortunately, when I tried to overlap them, I didn't necessarily like the way it looked with it being completely overlapped either. So I had to go back and cut off part of that underneath piece that's kind of, showing up under. So, some of these things are just trial and error, trying to see which looks best and which doesn't. But I really do like the finished look here at the end where, once I finally do get it. So, but yeah, I really do like that finished look at the end. And yeah, it's a little off. It's not a perfect match, but it looks pretty to me. I like it. It's functional, and I'm not going to be going back to this page too much. This is really just kind of, a start of my quarter 4. So I'm going to go ahead and just trim off those edges there off the bottom. And again, you see I take a little bit of the paper with me, not a big deal, not in my book anyhow. So, but yeah, I'm going to go ahead and take off those extra edges and start working on the top part. Now, up at the top here, I'm just going to try out a couple different variations of color before I finally do decide on this red craft paper that's going to be coming up in a minute. And this was just a piece of like regular construction paper that I got like out of a kid's pack. I want to say probably at the dollar store. Okay. But so it tore really easy, But I also noticed that it really had a matte kind of finish to it. And when I compared it to the bottom, as you see, like the craft paper at the bottom is very textured. And I didn't really like the look of just that, red craft paper. So what I decided to do is after I cut off this edge and while I stick it down and cut off this edge, I just go in with another piece of scrapbook paper to put over top of it to give it a more layered feel and to bring in some more of those ooh, that's a word. Yeah, if I could talk, things would be doing much better here. But yeah, some of those other different colors and things like that. So I'm just going to add that second strip up on top, give them a more layered kind of texture. And then here in the middle, I'm going to add just a couple pieces of washi tapes. Now, these tapes are from different sets that I got on Amazon. In fact, the top one is from like a bumblebee set. And so it had like, this is like little honeycomb, but the color of it was almost perfect for this autumn type of feel. And then the second one was a like almost like a tie-dye set. It came with like 8 or 10 different rolls. But if I can find those on the Amazon, if they still have them currently, I'll make sure that I put it in the description. So right now I'm just cutting out some pre-made labels that I had. Now I have these on sticky paper, and I thought everything was going well, as I normally don't have issues with this, but as you may have seen with the top one and then with this one, like the sticker even tore. Yeah, I think it might be the X-Acto knife, so I'm just going to go ahead and change knives here, and hopefully it will not be as bad. And I'll recenter this quarter one so it looks more like the 4. Now, overall, this doesn't look too bad, but I think I'm just going to put a couple more decorations. I'm going to bring out this washi tape that is from the Washi Tape shop. It's an excellent shop. However, with it being overseas, this is something that when you order, I want to say it's in Australia maybe, that when you order, it does take about 10 days to get to the United States. Excellent, excellent stickers though. This one is not a pre-cut. This is one that you have to cut around it yourself, which sometimes I like because I can go for those little individual little stickers and kind of, make things look my own versus, taking the pre-cut. But this is just a gorgeous one. Now, this particular washi tape I actually got last January when I first started my book journal. And, but so I'm not sure if they still have this one in stock, but I do know that they have several other like autumn Halloween type ones in stock, which you're going to see in just a few minutes. So that particular page setup is done, and we're going to go ahead and flip over to the next page. Now this page is going to be my goals page, and I'm going to have much larger decoration here in the middle. So I'm choosing these rather large pumpkin pieces to kind of highlight my centerpiece. And after I get those secured, it's just a matter of taking a few minutes to cut them out using my X-Acto knife, and they peel off pretty easily. Now you'll see I'm not taking every single piece of this. I didn't want it to go beyond certain lines, so I made sure that I cut off specific, parts of these stickers, which is again one of those features that I said when you don't get the pre-cut ones and you get to cut them yourself, you get to kind of figure out how you want the sticker to be shaped overall. So yeah, so I'm just going to peel those off and stick those here in the middle to give a nice central focal point. And then after that, it's really just a matter of I'm going to take I have a set of Micron pens that are permanent markers here, and this one is a 0.30 millimeter, and I'm just going around and drawing basically like 4 boxes. So I'm a teacher by trade, and some people would be like, oh, it's like a Frayer model, and that's basically what it is. Okay, I'm just making 4 different boxes here around the edges, just dots and dashes, nothing too fancy. I'm not really fancy. I like pretty stickers. I like my journal to look nice, but I don't, I don't worry about squiggly lines. I didn't want to break out my ruler and make it like fancy because this is something I want to work in. And if I'm going to work in it, I don't want it to be something that I'm afraid to write in. Okay, so having some squiggly lines, having some things that are imperfect, but it still looks nice is going to appeal to me to make me use it, but it's not going to be something that I'm going to be afraid to write in. Okay, so I have my 4 boxes here, and these are basically the 4 boxes that I'm going to be using to do my 4 specific areas of goals. So I decided to take some of that orange washi tape that I used on that first page, and I kind of tore it in half, to make it a little bit smaller so it fits more in that 5 millimeter box range. And I'm using some of the orange and then some of the yellow to kind of highlight both of those washi colors again. And then I'm going to take those pre-printed labels again, which I swear had to be the bane of my existence in this whole process. Some of them came off really easy, and then there were a couple of them that just did not want to give. So, lesson learned, I guess. Make sure that you use particular sticker tape or labels that you're already accustomed to using. So this is my goals page, and I will come back and I'll fill in my specific goals for those specific areas. Now, this particular page is going to be pretty much the start of my October, like, tracking, or, because it is going over the 3 months in the quarter. This is going to be like the highlight of starting my October pages. So, what I decided to do here is go ahead and create myself a calendar. Now, I am using this as like a quarter and kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say cycle planning. I do like planning from Sunday to Saturday. I'm kind of used to that from work. I always do Sunday to Saturday. Plus, most of our calendars here in the United States are like that. So I'm just going in and drawing some basic lines. Again, I didn't want to use the ruler. I had it all kind of mapped out where I needed to put them, and I just dot and dashed it, especially, and it's October. So a little squiggly, a little spooky, things like that. This whole page didn't take me long at all. Like I said, I already had the, where I wanted to put the lines, and just adding those little dots and dashes throughout was kind of like, oh yeah, this isn't a problem at all. So it kind of went pretty quickly. Ultimately, I'm going to end up with 4 columns on the left hand side and 3 columns on the right, which are going to be my Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on my left hand side, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday on the right. And then I will have a little extra space over there on the right hand side where I can add in some decorations. So as you can see, not really worried about the straight lines, little squiggly marks there. Not a big deal, okay? Not to me, and it's functional. That's all I'm going to worry about. So I have this set of TomBow markers. These are the cottage set that I want to say I picked these up on Amazon as well, but I want to say that they also have them in Hobby Lobby. And I'm using the orange one here, and that one is, oh my goodness, let me think. The orange TomBow brush pen is a 946, I think. And I'm just putting in little orange dots in each of the corners. And then I'm going to go back with my Micron pen and put the actual dates. Now, again, because I'm doing this in 5 weeks, I'm actually going to be doing, you know, starting on Sunday, which was actually like the 8th, I think, the 28th of September, and October 1st being Wednesday. But I'm go ahead and write all of those dates in, and I have a full 5 weeks here that I'm going to be tracking for the month of October. October 31st does happen to be on a Friday this year, and then the 1st of November will start on a Saturday. So when I do my next month's setup, I'm going to end up just doing 4 weeks, but I'll start with November 2nd. So the next part here that I didn't mention was that I went ahead and out of that same set there is a green number, and that green Tombow is pin number 192, and that's what I just used to fill in the breaks, just to give it a little bit more color, that type thing. Up at the top here, I am adding some, just, little pieces of scrap left over. There's some more of that yellow textured paper again that I'm bringing back. This is the what, second time I'm using the same paper. It was just a little 5x7 piece, and I'm just going to use it until I can't use it no more. So there's that. And then on the right hand side, I'll go ahead and bring back that red that I used as well. But instead of adding an additional, that additional piece on top of it, I decided that I wanted to add more stickers. So I'm just using the adhesive tape here, laying down that red. I'll go through and I'll cut off the excess around the corners here. And as you see throughout, like I get better with cutting out. I don't know why that first yellow just was not working out well for me. I could not get it to work right. And but yeah, so it's much easier with the craft paper, and it cuts off pretty easily, and everything's good to go. So I'm going to bring out another washi tape now. Now this washi tape is another one from the Washi Tape shop, and yeah, the colors on it, the oranges, the purples, like match that first one beautifully. So I'm just going in. This is one of those other ones that I got from the Washi Tape shop. This is part of their new Halloween or autumn line. In fact, I just got this one about a month ago. So I'm adding in this little flowers with a bat hanging out of it here. I love this kind of guy hanging upside down here, and then just some extra flowers, and I got a little mushroom piece that I'm going to be adding down in the bottom right. Now this one actually has like some really cute little black cats, and some spiders on it and things like that. So this is a really interesting. It's really beautiful, but at the same time it still has some of those kind of spooky-ish elements. Okay, so I'm just going to go around and add in a couple pieces to fill in some of that white space on the right hand side, and just to make it look better. This is yeah, this is just kind of the way that I want to do this. Just to make it look pretty, just to make it, just make it mine. And that's one of the great things about doing these type of bullet journals. If you buy a journal in the store, you kind of get stuck with that layout, and you can add decorations to it, but the layouts are already there. You can't really change much, and if things aren't working right, you either have to go get a whole nother journal, or something that somebody else has made. So yeah, after experimenting with my reading journal throughout the year, and doing different setups and things like that, I definitely decided that if I was going to start any other type of journaling or planning or anything like that, it was definitely going to be done in my own format and with my own things. Plus, this is also a huge creative outlet for me. It gives me time to just, spend some time making something pretty, making something quick. As I said, I'm a teacher by trade. I don't have a lot of time on my hands sometimes. So I end up, just kind of going with what I've got. And, but I miss that creative outlet sometimes that's just on me. So, yeah, I just ended up making my own, and that's just fine. Right now, I'm going to go around the corner and cut off these little edges that are hanging over for the stickers and stuff like that. And as you can see, the scissors slide very easily on these type of things. But yeah, so just cutting off those edges, making sure everything looks good. And this one is pretty much done, and we'll be heading over to our actual like tracking page, and our extra project page before we get into our weeklies. Now, on this particular page on the left hand side, some people, it's a tracker, but not a traditional tracker in the sense that you would think. Now, this pen that I'm using is also from that cottage collection from TomBow. This is the dark purple in it. And I want to say it's like 197 or something like that. And I'm just putting in, again, I'm tracking 5 weeks, so it's pretty much filling up this entire left hand side. And I'll be marking Sunday through Saturday and each of those little pieces over to the left hand side that are sticking out. Now, across the top, I have written Prefy, Prefy. And I know I'm going to get some questions about that. So, this is kind of like tracking my goals. Now, this isn't a tracker like, oh, I'm like a habit tracker. I want to make sure I'm doing this every day. This is literally just on the days that I do one of those 5 things, I'm just going to put a check mark in the box that I worked on that. So, P is for my projects that I want to do around the house, like decluttering and things like that. R is for reading. I do make it a point to try and read or listen to my audiobook every single day. E is for exercise. One of my health goals is to be more intentional about getting my exercise in. F is for finances, and that's whether I'm submitting a reimbursement for from my job, or I'm saving money, whatever that is. Anything that has to do with finances, I'm going to be adding there. And then my Y is specifically work on my YouTube channel. So the flesh tone marker that I'm using here is a TomBow marker 910, which is actually out of a different set. And I'm just doing some second line highlights there in the larger box. I did column and second line highlights in the Prefy box. So that way where the two cross, it kind of give me, good grid type so that I would be able to track those a little bit easier. Down at the bottom is a box that will be tracked especially for my YouTube. In the in the month of October, I do plan on, because I'm tracking 5 weeks, I should have 5 different videos that come out. So each of those little symbols down there, the little squiggly one is for scripting it. The little, two, I don't know, almost like an infinity, it's basically like film reels, basically, is that I filmed it. The little thumbtack for that I've done the thumbnail, the little X for editing, and then the little triangle means I've uploaded it or it is ready to go on YouTube. My actions list is, again, it's for like the whole month. And this is, I think, where I'm going to go into specifics for my decluttering, like how I want to tackle right now. For my October goal, I'm really looking at decluttering just my like master bedroom, master closet, and my master bathroom. So just those 3 areas, but taking it and breaking it down even further to like dresser and nightstand and shoe rack and, this part of my closet, then that part of my closet, and so forth and so on. Up at the top here, just added some little scrapbook paper, and yes, that's another washi tape. Do you think? Yeah, I have a little bit of a problem there. It is a different autumnal washi tape from the washi tape shop that I just got about a month ago. And this is like the third in that series that they have. And this one's got this cute little back cookie, and then the little, like, cup of coffee that's in the little black and white, kind of almost reminds me like of Beetlejuice costume or something. So I made sure I put that up at the top. I'm cutting off the top here of this extra paper on the right hand side, and those 3 boxes. This whole page here is going to go for my pumpkin party. Okay, every year for about 24 years now. Oh my gosh. Only missing 2 years from COVID, and then another year there was an issue. But only those 2 years I've been doing this pumpkin party where my whole family comes and we all have a good autumn like harvest meal, and then we carve pumpkins at my house. Now, I've pretty much been doing this so long, I don't it's these boxes aren't going to be used for planning so much. Excuse me. But you'll see here I'm going to add them in, and well, a little bit of decoration for first. So this is from the other one that I just used, the other washi tape that I used on the other page, and just finding all these pumpkins on all the different washi tapes that I have just gotten, and putting them, all over, just kind of dressing up my pumpkin party thing with a bunch of pumpkins. So we're doing that. That's from another washi tape one that you're going to see in a few minutes. That's more Halloween and kid based and that type thing. Really cute. So those are going to be coming up in one of our weekly spreads here in a minute. Also, another new autumn's washi tape that's available. And then I'm going back to the one that I got that bat and Java cup off of. And I'm using this huge white one here in the bottom right hand corner. I thought it looked really good on this red. Okay. But then I was like, oh, it's really kind of, yeah, like I needed more. And then I was like, oh my gosh, look, the little hat fits perfectly. So I decided that I was going to put the witch's hat on the pumpkin. And I know that sounds strange, but it looks so cute and I'm so excited about it. Okay. Now, these three boxes, okay, what they're going to be used for is every year on my pumpkin party, in all the cooking stuff, I usually try or, come up with a couple different recipes to try out, whether it's baking or we made a pumpkin chili once. That was pretty cool. A lot of people actually like that one where you actually make the cookie. I'm sorry, make the chili in the pumpkin. And then when people scoop the chili out, they end up getting pieces of the pumpkin flesh in the chili. It was really good too. So we have recipes to try, and then there's some different tasks just in case I want to try, change things up a little bit here and there because I do change things up occasionally, and different decorations or we've had projections going on sometimes and things like that. So different things to kind of mix things up. And then that last box down there at the bottom is just exactly what it says. It's just memories. There's always something very specific that I want to remember. So now we are going into our weekly spreads, and this is something that I've tinkered with on different variations throughout the years. I've tried some in my commonplace journals and things like that, different setups, and I always ended up with like a lot of white space. And the more of Joshi Corin's videos that I watched, I was like, you know what? I think this might work for me. So, totally stealing this idea from her, where basically I'll just be going through and doing some decorations in the top left and bottom right, or different areas throughout the pages. And I'll be decorating those and just starting with some basic, like 4 or 5 lines of this gray, which is out of another set. And this is N95. This is like a grayscale set, which you can also get at Hobby Lobby. I'm only putting like 5 lines down there just to kind of give me like a basis of, where I need to put my lines. But what I'll do is I'll be like, because I start on Sunday, so it'll be like Sunday the 28th. I'll write down like a list. It's a task list. My dopamine brain and my ADHD brain like work very well with lists, and some days get more things than others. So instead of having a bunch of blocks that are already pre-planned, that I'm going to end up with a lot of white space or not enough space in some days when my list could be like 35 lines long. Then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start on the left hand side and go down creating my list as I go. And then once I get to the end of that day and nothing else is on my list, then I can go ahead and start just right underneath it with my next day, which in this case would be Monday. So I'm just decorating a little bit of left and a little bit on the right and flipping over to the next page. This will be my week 2. And this one, instead of doing like a diagonal left, right, I decided to go back to this kind of cute, just words across with the different color. We've used this one a couple times already, and just using up the scraps that I have laying around, I'm going to add this, but only to the bottom of the page on both sides, okay? Because that last one that I brought out with like all the kids' costumes and the like, really kind of kid themed type Halloween stuff, I just thought that was too cute. And I was like, hey, I can make like a little scene down here. So I'm just putting these in, and I will be cutting off the edges around the corner here. And then I will go in and start adding from that other washi tape shop roll. with all of those cute little Halloween things on it. Just different little elements, some trees and some pumpkins and stuff like that. Now, having it just along the bottom, it may seem like it seems kind of off balance, but as I'm going to be filling in everything and the top with my writing, it's not really going to seem off balance at all once it's filled in. Okay. And again, some days are going to be planned more than others. So that way, even if I have a week where, hello, my last day ends up going over to the next day, I could have a week where it doesn't quite fill up 2 pages. That could happen as well. So just adding some of those trees here. And then I start adding in all those cute little kids and their little costumes. I thought they're just too adorable. So again, all of these are current on the washi tape shop, except for that first one that I used with the cover page and the goals page. That one was actually last year's autumn collection, and they could still have some. Like I said, I'll definitely put a link down there. Now, I do not have a code to give you savings. I'm not sponsored by them. It's just a shop that I found through Joshi and through several other YouTube creators as well that are just, it's a phenomenal shop. Their stickers are beautiful. And doesn't that just look so cute? Just little kids in the little haunted house and I just love that. Okay, I know I'm going to have fun filling out this journal through the month. Now, I am just going to do probably one more setup here on camera. Now, I actually already did like 3 more weekly things, and we're going to see those at the end. But, so you don't have to sit there and just watch me filling out 3 more pages of up, left, down, right. You will get to see them all at the end. I decided I would go ahead and just move to the back page and show you at the end of my month, I'm going to have a check-in on my goals. Okay, so if I have, so many goals for quarter 4, I need to see how I'm doing on those goals at the end of each month to see if I'm making enough progress, if I need to change what I'm doing, that type thing. So I'm just using the same flesh tone as before. This is the 910 flesh tone type second line highlight, and kind of peachy light flesh tone. I do love that, pretty all the leaves type thing. And I thought this would be a perfect way to end this with all the colors kind of in one strip across the top. I am going back to those pre-made labels. I don't know why, because they were not friendly to me, but I already had them printed out, didn't want to waste them. So going back to those pre-made labels, I'm going to go ahead and put the check-in up at the top. And then the other 3 boxes, the really large box, and I did this purposely, is the first box is going to be my wins, because I really want to focus on the things I did really well. And I want to make sure I fill up that box. And if you'll notice, my challenges box is much, much smaller and even has less lines in it, okay? Because I don't want to think back and be like, well, what really bothered me and blah, 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 and oh, this was really hard. I really just want to focus on the positive part of this experience and moving on. On the right-hand side is my progress box, and basically that's where I'll go back to that Preffy bar, and I'll be actually looking at, based off of the goals, how well did I do? And if I don't think I'm making enough progress on a specific goal, then I can go back and be like, okay, well, how many days did I actually do something that worked on this goal? Okay. So like I said, it's not really a habit tracker. It's more of a just keeping count of what I'm actually doing on what day. So that way I can go back and be like, okay, maybe I need to make this a couple more days. Or you know what, I'm doing okay. I think what I did last time, as long as I keep up the same pace, I should be able to finish those goals. So to finish off this, I just added some of that border tape that I got from Amazon that was on that first quarter setup page. I put it down at the bottom because I was like, this is the end of the month. Let's go ahead and wrap this one up, but let's give it a complete feel. So I'm adding that border at the end, and then going back to that original washi tape that I had gotten from January of last year and adding those same ones into this layout. And that's it, just a couple stickers. So let's do a flip through real quick so that we can see everything that we've done today. This is the main quarter 4 page. And then we go over to our goals page for with each of the sections, health, personal, home, and finance. Then we have my October monthly spread, my actual projects and tracking spread, and then we start on those weekly spreads. So this one you saw me do, and this one you saw me do, and then there are 3 more in here that are coming up. Love this yellow with the purple. Okay, purple and yellow being complementary colors. It looks really great. This red with these blush colors, and like, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm already loving this and cannot wait to fill out every single page. And this one with those bright burnt oranges in this, so pretty. So that's it, everybody. And so tell me, if you've made it this far, what are some of your goals that you want to complete before the end of the year? Bye, everyone.